Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Well, it looks like Erislandy Lara proved me wrong and put on a very impressive performance. He made this fight against Lara Trout look far more easier than Canelo made it look when he was fighting against Austin. He was on point from the first round to the end. You know, it's a couple things interesting about this fight. Is obviously, before the fight, Lara Trout, he was saying that he believed that Erislandy Lara had no heart, and he was just going to run. He was going to run around the ring. And then Lara, he countered by basically saying that Lara Trout is going to do the same thing. He's going to run, right? So I thought it was interesting because the first round, both of them, they met each other right in the center of the ring. And you could tell Lara was making a point. He like basically saying to Lara Trout, I thought you said I was going to run. I'm standing right in front of you, so what are you going to do? And this is one of the main things that surprised me about this fight. Because even though I knew that this was a very, very close fight, I leaned towards Lara Trout. And the reason why I leaned towards Lara Trout is because when I looked at Lara versus Angulo, and I seen the pressure that Angulo put on Erislandy Lara, I thought that Lara Trout would fight that same type of style. I thought he would come in with the high guard, and he would try to put all the pressure in the world on Lara. But Lara Trout, he did the exact opposite. Lara Trout would track down Lara, but once he tracked him down, it's like he didn't know what to do. He would stand there and he would freeze up, and he would wait like he's trying to counter the counterpuncher. Now, if it was obvious to me, I would assume that it would be obvious to Team Trout that Lara is much quicker than Trout. Lara is more gifted. He has more natural athletic ability than Lara Trout. So it would seem to me that the natural thing to do would be to put pressure on the slick counterpuncher. And Lara Trout, he didn't feel comfortable doing it. He didn't feel comfortable doing it. And like I said, he's slower, he is wider, and he was trying to counter the counterpuncher. And Lara Trout, he didn't get this. But Angulo, as slow, flat-footed, and wide of a puncher as Angulo is, it seemed like he got it. All right? Don't get me wrong. Angulo, he completely lost against Erislandy Lara. But what I'm saying is, Angulo, he gave himself the best chance of winning the fight. So, yeah, I was really surprised that Lara Trout, he tried to box the boxer. I thought he would be a lot more aggressive, but he wasn't. But anyway, congratulations to Erislandy Lara. This was a very impressive performance. He was throwing some laser-like left hands. His foot movement was impressive. Ring generalship, everything was working. Nice feints, angles. Like I said, the left hand was very impressive. As the middle, I guess around the middle part of the fight, is when Trout, he really started dropping that left hand, and he started to kind of pick Trout apart with it, and that's when eventually, later on, as we see, he knocked Trout down with that left hand that he kept landing repeatedly. I think Erislandy Lara and Demetrius Andrade are the two best 154-pounders in the division right now. So the next question is, when does Canelo Alvarez step up and fight against Erislandy Lara? I mean, it's time, man. It's time. You know, everybody's saying Canelo is the second coming of the future star of the sport, etc., etc. You're going to have to fight the best eventually. And right now, the best fighter, or at least the two best fighters, like I told you guys, I personally think just because of what he's accomplished, speaking of Erislandy Lara, that he's the number one 154-pounder. Like I said, I told you guys that I really like what I've seen in Demetrius Andrade as well. But just because of what Lara has already accomplished, I guess we have to go ahead and give him the number one spot. So it's time for Canelo Alvarez to step up. Is he going to fight Erislandy Lara this year? I mean, both fighters are fighting on Showtime. So we know that's not going to be really a problem. There's not going to be too many negotiation problems for this fight to be made. Will Canelo fight against Erislandy Lara is the question. All right, there's already talks that Canelo is not going to get the Cotto fight. So now they're saying that he might possibly fight Carlos Molina. But then they said that there were two other options, but Richard Schaefer, he wasn't revealing who the other two optional fighters may be. It could be possible. Maybe. I doubt it, but it could be possible that one of the options were the winner of Lara versus Trout. So we'll see what happens in the future, guys. But once again, man, Erislandy Lara, he put on a terrific performance, and he fought against a top-notch fighter tonight and made it look very easy. Once again, this is something that Canelo Alvarez could not do. So the question is, I guess you have to kind of ask, what does that say about Canelo Alvarez? Because, the fight was so close between Canelo and Trout that some would argue that the fight could have been a draw. Okay? So, just food for thought. So sometimes you can kind of gauge how good a fighter is by comparing his performance to someone else's performance. And then other times it's just styles make fights. So I guess we'll just have to see how things turn out in the future. So that's all I got on this one, guys. I'm on to the next one.